Coming to you from the land of enchantment, Albuquerque, New Mexico, but heard in all four corners of the world, this is another sports rant, bringing you the juiciest sports drama with the sharpest statistics, but most importantly, my own brilliant opinion. If you're listening on Spotify, please leave us a rating and review if you haven't already. If you're listening on YouTube, please give us a like and a subscribe. That really helps us out a lot. And if you are on YouTube, please go follow the link in my social in the description below. It'll have all of my socials, my Instagram, my TikTok, my X. But let's get straight into it, guys. Because oh boy, do we have a show for you. So, a couple of days ago, the NBA Finals just wrapped up Game 2. The series is even. OKC just won handily, 123 to 107. After a thrilling Game 1, the Thunder came out with a must-win attitude. Chet Holmgren and Jalen Williams played much better this game. I was really shocked. Even Alex Caruso and Aaron Wiggins off the bench in double figures. So I was really impressed by this OKC front, because we've seen a lot of teams, actually every team that has played Indiana, the first two games they lose at home. This is the first time that a team has beaten Indiana at home in the first two games. So that is a good sign if you're an Oklahoma City Thunder fan. What really struck me was they out rebounded them for the in Game 1 comparatively. Indiana had 56 rebounds to OKC's 39. That is a shot. And who won that basketball game? Obviously, the Indiana Pacers won that basketball game, had a lot of momentum going into that fourth quarter. Compared to Game 2, OKC out-rebounded them 43 to 35. I think this is very critical because when Chet Holmgren had a very, very, very bad first game. He was not really active. He wasn't active in really any kind of part of the game, in scoring, defending, rebounding. He was just kind of invisible. He kind of vanished. And that's not really what you want from a second or third best player on your team. And same with Isaiah Hartenstein. They were just not on the floor enough. And they were not visible enough in that game 1. Which obviously showed what happened. Indiana was able to build momentum in that fourth quarter, especially when they were not rebounding very well in that fourth quarter. And with Chet and Hartenstein on the bench. And I think with them both in rhythm, it really stenched that Indiana comeback in Game 2. Because they felt like there were some runs in Game 2 where it was like, oh shit, here comes Indiana again. A 7-0 run. They're coming back into it. But the real hero of this entire thing was SGA. Once again, proving that he is the MVP of the league with 34, 5, and 8. 4 steals and a block. What impressed me most was those 8 assists. Compared to the Game 1, he only had 3 in Game 1. He was getting his teammates involved. He was getting to the basket. And they were hitting open shots. And that's really what I was really expecting. What would the Oklahoma City Thunder do in Game 1? In Game 2, rather. How would they come out? Would they come out timid? No, they came out hard, with a hammer, with a purpose, with a thunder. With authority. Yeah, we are the best team in the league. Our record is not some fluke. We're not some fluky 1 seed. We're not just some team of we are not in the same conversation as the 90s Bulls for nothing. We are not going to let that stand. So I was really impressed by that. The 8 assists leading all players in that category, um, which is impressive because Tyrese Halliburton also kind of had that. He kind of had a fluky game. He has a couple of these where he will have a great game the game before, and then just kind of be passive in the next game. We saw it a couple times in that series against New York, a couple times in that series against the Cavs. Um, but it was mostly against New York, where the 2 games that they lost, he was not really present. You couldn't really see him on the like. There's times there's like Russell Westbrook is one of these players where you always see them. They're always there. It's like, oh, they're even if they're playing bad or they're playing good, they are visible on the court. Tyrese Halliburton, when he is playing bad, he is not like there's nothing. It's not like he's not passing the ball to the other team or throwing it off the side of the backboard, but he is not doing enough for his team to win. Granted, speaking of that, he did heat up in the fourth quarter, 12 points in the fourth, but it was like I said with all of OKC in rhythm because SJ was moving the ball. There were just times where it was just like, wow, they're moving the ball really well. Got a lot of guys in double figures, a lot of guys in rhythm, shooting the ball well, like Alex Caruso and Aaron Wiggins. That it really staunched the Indiana comeback kids, the underdog that never die. Cobra Kai never dies, right? So it's that it helped for sure. But something I was really interested in that kind of caught my sports eye a little bit is that OKC's head coach Mark Dagnall, his decision to start Cason Wallace in both of these finals games was kind of like a moment for a lot of us because Cason Wallace had not started at all in these playoffs. He had Isaiah Hardenstein was starting for the majority of these playoffs, and that's when I looked up this stat via StatMuse. Cason Wallace has the highest plus minus plus 140 by any bench player in a playoff run since Manu Ginobili in 2014. 140 plus minus. He is very, very, very good. And I think the other wrinkle that Dagnall sees is when Tyrese Halliburton, Aaron Nesmith, or Andrew Nembhard, when they're doing their high ball screen, they do a lot of this. They do a lot of this action where they will come up almost to the logo and give a high ball screen, and it opens up a lot of their offense. Whether it's Pascal, whether it's feeding the ball to Pascal or Miles, or it's getting a really nice, easy, getting the paint touches that they need to kick it out to the corners where they shoot really well from, or to just dump it off to a big, right? Whenever Hardenstein or Chet is on the floor, or even Lou Dort. Lou Dort's a great defender, and whenever they're getting that switch, there's like switching from like J-Dub to Cason Wallace, or like Cason Wallace is coming up and guarding up from like 94 feet, right? And Hallie and Naismith and Nembhard, when they're trying to switch from that ball screen, they get J-Dub or Lou Dort instead of Chet or Hardenstein. So they're not really getting the switch that they want. They'll need to do multiple rescreens or move the ball more to get that preferable matchup in their half-court offense. Otherwise, and this is just like a stroke of genius from Dagnall because he understands that Cason Wallace may not be like necessarily the best player that for that starting five. He might not get as many rebounds, but we can get stops from him. He obviously trusts Chet enough to get rebounds, and Chet was in a rhythm in game 2. He was hitting shots, he was baptizing motherfuckers. He was in a move. And when everybody was in that and when we can get more people in that groove, because not everybody is SGA, right? Not everybody is just go get a bucket guy, right? I think he has now surpassed Michael Jordan and Allen Iverson for the most points in their first two NBA in their first two finals games ever. So I think he has like 73 points or something like that in 2 games. Really, really impressive from him. But still, when the ball is moving, Alex Caruso is scoring 20 points. Aaron Wiggins is scoring 20 points. J-Dub has 17, or however much he had, and it's they were moving the basketball, and they were getting really good looks. It wears out a defense more to move the basketball quickly than to dribble quickly. That's something I've always said. Every coach, if you have ever played organized basketball, your coach will always tell you, pass the ball, like pass first kind of people. We want the ball down the floor in 2 seconds, or we want the ball moving constantly, like 10 passes before a shot, right? Because the ball moves faster when you pass it. When you try and dribble, you can create your own shot, right? It's how a lot of people create their own shots. But as a team with 5 guys out there, it's more exhausting for a defense to rush to adjust to a pass than to adjust to a dribble. Because if you're just standing there watching one guy dribble, it's easy for one guy to guard. It takes 5 guys to guard a pass. Because everybody has to rotate, adjust, move. It's like, okay, where did the ball go from here? And whenever the ball is moving quickly, it's really hard. Really hard. So that's really how OKC just kind of like punished them. So yeah, you know what? You guys are a great defense. We're just going to move the ball really well. And then on the defensive end, when you try and get in your high ball screen switches, you're just going to have another really good defender on you. You'll go from Case and Wallace, Lou Dort, or J-Dub. Or even SGA. Hell, right? Those 4 of their starting 5 can all guard the ball incredibly well. And they're all really good perimeter defenders. And where is Indiana very strong? On the perimeter. Shooting the basket, getting out quick. So that adjustment from Dagenhalt is kind of like, yeah, you know what? I can give up a couple of rebounds if we get a lot of stops on the defensive end. And you know what? They out-rebounded them tonight. Because you know what? Isaiah Hartenstein will come in the basketball game. And he will make an impact. And you know what? As a big guy, he probably likes to, sit down a little bit longer. He's not running up and down the floor constantly. Those big frames are heavy. So it works out very nicely for OKC. And I think they will wrap this up in probably 6 games. I think Indiana will get one at home. Even though they are not a very good home team, I think they will. It's the NBA Finals. I think after probably Game 3, they will probably pull one out at home. And then after that, I really couldn't see them pulling more than... They can't pull too many more tricks on them. Unless Tyrese Halliburton becomes the devil and just says, fuck it, we ball. That's the only real way that, mathematically speaking, that they could come pull this out. A little bit more on the NBA Finals. At the beginning of Game 2, we noticed that the NBA actually put in like a logo of the Larry O'Brien trophy. I spaced it there for a second. They video projected it onto the screen so you could, because NBA Twitter got so mad at them for not having the big finals logo or having any kind of branding of the NBA Finals on the floor. And it got me wondering, and it was kind of funny because they only started complaining about this very recently, because it's two small market teams. Oh, it's so boring. Oh, the ratings are down. Shut the fuck up. It's bad. If you don't like basketball, just say it. Who cares? Really, I've enjoyed these NBA finals a lot. So I I just got right. They were complaining, and like we haven't had those logos on the floor in years, like literal years. And now everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, there's no symbols on the floor. It's only YouTube TV," which is like, yeah, I get it. I like those too. I really like when they had the trophy on their jerseys, and it just like it kind of was more symbolic. It felt bigger than it was, and I was like, really, we didn't complain about this 2 or 3 or 4 years ago. It just went viral now, but um, because it's not been like that for a long time. But I do understand it though, because like the NBA Cup has like all these goofy ass courts, and the ever like the colorway and everything's like super like in your face, and the NBA Finals it's just like, not really. We're not really. We don't give a shit. But other than that, I think it's just because of like it was just funny to see that because it was superimposed on the video, so it's not actually on the floor. And then they switched it around with the NBA Finals on YouTube TV uh, around a couple times. So like the first and third quarter had the little Larry O'Brien trophy, and then I really appreciate like because for me I did enjoy it. I was like, yeah, look at that, they tried. It wasn't a very good Larry like it looked like some graphic works that I've done, but you know what? At least they tried. At least they put in a little bit of effort for that. And for that, I kind of applaud Adam Silver. I assume next year it's probably going to be something similar to like they might do the big ass Larry O in the middle of the floor, or because if the NBA does anything, it panders to the fans immensely, especially with like the player movement and all that. Like they love to pander to their fans, and you know what? I'm fine with it. Like it's not really a big deal. I'm not plussed. It's kind of funny. And it's funny to go on Twitter and see people who don't know any ball try and and talk about the ratings are down. Oh my gosh, Oklahoma City, Indiana. And I really like I'm going to rant a little bit about from this because being from a flyover state in New Mexico, and like Oklahoma City and Indiana are also like Oklahoma and Indiana are like flyover states. They're so small, like fly specks compared to like the big markets. But I like the basketball. They have created these two small markets have made great basketball. In the NFL, it doesn't fucking matter, right? Kansas City has been sitting on the mountaintop for shit nearly 10 years now. Yes, Boston was the New England Patriots were dominating for 20 years, but Denver won a Super Bowl during that time too. Kansas City, Baltimore is a good team. Buffalo, Green Bay, Pittsburgh. Those are the biggest brands in the league. Not Atlanta. Atlanta's garbage. Right? LA has won a championship, but like it took a while. There was a point in time where LA did not have an NFL team, but they're the most, and the NFL is king. So I don't really understand those people who say small markets are bad. This is awful. Yeah, the NBA suffered. It had the lowest ratings of a game one watched ever, but I don't really care. Right? The one of the highest watched NBA Finals games, Utah was in it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just because LeBron or Steph isn't in it, and eventually somebody will get on that same level. Maybe it's Wemby who just shaved his head and looks like like he's going to tear up the league because he has reached enlightenment. Um, or maybe it's like Anthony Edwards. Who knows, right? Whenever a basketball player becomes bigger than basketball, that is when the NBA will have those big ratings and those everybody watching, right? But when I watch basketball, I don't care, right? It's like, oh, not a quarter of a million people are watching the basketball game I'm watching. I don't give a fuck. Could not give a fuck. But you know what? It is what it is. People should watch the NBA finals. It's entertaining, and if you like basketball, you will enjoy it immensely. But other than that, yeah. So just recently, I started collecting jerseys. Um, I have had like owned a couple of jerseys in my life, but it's something that growing up kind of poor or just very frugal um, wasn't really a big part of my life and just being young and managing my money well. So I realized a fun way for me to start collecting jerseys or sports memorabilia or anything is to just hunt in thrift stores for them. And I've been kind of pleasantly surprised by how much I've found. So in the last couple of weeks, I have found a Marvin Harrison Colts jersey, which is, granted, it is in a kid size, but I still think it's really cool. I'm not gonna wear it, but like, it's a cool Marvin Harrison Colts jersey. Like, I was like, huh, that's pretty neat, right? Then I found this Julio Jones. It's a women's official jersey, but it was like $15 at my local thrift store, and I was like, huh, this is really cool. And then today, I was out thrifting at Savers, and I found this Aaron Rodgers Green Bay Packers jersey for $50 at the at Savers. So I was like, huh, you know what? That's really cool. I like there are so many great ways to like if you want to collect jerseys, you don't gotta spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like this one was like this is the most expensive one I bought. It's like a men's large, but was it was $50 at Savers. They even had like a Peyton Manning jersey, and it was worn, but like the numbers were fading. But like it was a Broncos Peyton Manning jersey, and I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I have in my display case behind my flag over here, but in my display case, I have that Devin Booker jersey that I got at my first ever NBA game. So I don't know if y'all caught that, but that jersey in the display case back there is the first jersey I got at an NBA game. My sister bought it for me, but should be cool. Should be fun. But also, guys, that is probably going to be the video. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. And let's fucking go!